Good evening, everybody. Okay. Before anybody says anything strange about my scroll under there, that it's about Sebastian, I'm going to leave the TBI scroll up on all of my videos to remind people that if you have anything or know of anything or anything at all, to have the phone number for them to be able to call in and give that tip out. I hope everybody's having a good day. Let's get started with this. 3 people are facing charges. Hold on, let me fix something real quick. I'll get it right in a minute. Take that off of there. Hold up. Okay. 3 people are facing charges after a 5-year-old Indiana girl died due to severe neglect. Kinsleigh Welty was taken to the hospital after officers found her unresponsive in her home on April 9th. She was pronounced dead at Riley Hospital in Indianapolis. Now, I've done some pretty graphic child cases, I have to admit. Some that have taken me a few days to get over myself. And this one just makes me sick. Her mother, 29-year-old Toni McClure, and that's her mother and the little girl together, was arrested on charges of murder and child neglect resulting in death. McClure's boyfriend, that good looking, handsome, whatever that is, Toni McClure, now that's kind of a, we get that many. Her McClure's boyfriend, 27-year-old Ryan Smith, is charged with child neglect resulting in death. Days later, the police arrested the child's grandmother. So there's the grandmother and the boy. She's 53-year-old Tammy Kinsleigh on charges of neglect as well. Some keeps popping in the way of my screen. Sorry about that. Police said Kinsleigh was kept in a closet that had small handprints of what appeared to be feces on the door. Now, this is going to get pretty graphic. There was also soiled clothing and a strong smell of urine. The malnutrition child had sunken eyes and feces on her feet and in her hair when she was found. So she has fecal matter all over herself. And she had what appeared to be lice crawling on her face, according to court documents obtained by the news in Indianapolis. Hospital officials said Kinsleigh was also malnutritious. Now, she weighed more at 2.5 years old than she did at 5. So I'm assuming, with that being said, that the pictures that were available to be showed of her is not her current state. These are older pictures. Um, I mean, if she weighed more at 2.5 years old than she did at 5, these pictures are not her current pictures. And I'm going to leave this picture that's up there right now for a good bit, and there's a reason for that. So, authorities say that McClure had a history with the Department of Child Services, Kinsleigh's grandparents, Tricia and Brian Welty. The warning signs of child's failing health were reported, but DCS let them down and they want accountability. They said, "We just don't want her death to be in vain. We want change. We don't want any more kids to have to die because of the failure of the system." Trisha, well, at least said she was in our home and she was safe, but she was handed back to her abuser and she's not here anymore. The Weltleys say Kinsleigh temporarily lived with them twice with other reports of mistreatment. Now, in 2018, McClure was found formally charged with neglect when Kinsleigh was just a baby. The officer said the home was in one of the worst conditions he'd ever seen and noted a 3 week old child who appeared to be malnourished. The family says it was Kinsleigh. McClure served 21 days in jail for that case. I don't think 21 days is enough. Not at all. And that was when she was a baby, but a 3 week old child. So she's malnourished, and the police and other people that went there, said she's a malnutritioned 3 week old child. Why would anybody leave a child in that environment and only give her 21 days in jail for that? I don't know. Well, when she came to us the second time, she was bruised from head to toe. She had chunks of hair missing throughout her whole head, and she was given back to the mother again. This is crazy. She also tried to starve her to death when she was 3 weeks old, and they gave her back again, the Weltleys said. So, following the welfare check in 2021, the grandparents said they were fearful Kinsleigh would die. "I pleaded with DCS before that court case, and my concerns about every bit of it were ignored," Tricia Welty said. According to the police reports, just before Kinsleigh died, DCS was at the house after McClure's newborn. Lord, she has another one. DCS was at the mother's house the very day earlier in the day because the newborn that she has tested positive for THC. Kinsleigh did not test positive. McClure allegedly said Kinsleigh frequently expressed that she wanted more food or that she was thirsty, but had a desire for her to be out of her life. The Weltys want DCS to improve its unification process. The child's safety should be the priority, and I would totally agree with that. It shouldn't be getting them back to the parent if that person isn't right. They failed her, Trisha Welty said. Um, the Indianapolis News reached out to DCS over the past few days for comments, but a law that took effect in 2019 prevents the agency from releasing records on a child's death until the criminal case is solved. That is insane. I mean, Tony McClure, the girl's mother, had a history with the Department of Child Services, and now a city councilor is demanding a full investigation of the DCS. That is just. This child was in a closet. This is where she lived. She wasn't out running around the house. The grandparents claimed, as far as they were concerned, she was not a mother. She was a monster. And it's unimaginable that we're dealing with right now. I mean, flowers and balloons, and let me find this right here for you. Flowers, balloons, and a card saying Forever Vibe, always in her heart. Baby Kinsleigh sits outside on the southwest side of the home she was found unresponsive in. Now, try to remember there's another child here, a baby. And when they came to check on that baby, this little girl was in the house. And the police said she was thin, with sunken eyes, and had feces on her feet and her hair when she was found. But when they went there, it was for the newborn, and they had to come back a second time. The grandpa said he's traumatized and it's horrific, and words can't describe it. You you feel guilty to eat sometimes, he said. Kingsley lived with the grandparents twice. You know, I'm gonna tell this again about the second time they got her. She was bruised from head to toe. She had chunks of hair missing throughout her whole head, and she still was given back to her mother. She already tried to starve her to death when she was 3 weeks old. It seems to be a pattern here with this mother with the 3 week old, but they already gave her back. This is just crazy. Now, let's look at this letter right here. This letter that I am I'm gonna read it to you. I just gotta get up, move this out my way, and pull it up. Make sure I don't accidentally click us out. It's from the Indianapolis, the city council. It's sent to the director, Eric Miller, of the Department of Child Services. And I'm writing you with deep concern and a heavy heart regarding the recent incident involving the neglect death of Kinsleigh Welty, 5 years old. The deaths of this heartbreaking incident have shocked and shocked our community and is an imperative that we take immediate action to address the circumstances surrounding this tragedy. As a counselor serving on the City County Council in Indianapolis, representing the location where this tragedy occurred, I'm demanding a full board thorough investigation into this case by the Department of Child Services. It is critical that we understand how this situation was able to occur and what system failures, if any, contributed to the loss of this innocent life. Our community deserves answers, accountability, and justice for the victim. Furthermore, I'm requesting detailed information regarding the steps DCS is taking to ensure similar tragedies are prevented in the future. It's essential that DCS implements robust measures and protocols to identify and address cases of neglect and abuse in a timely manner. Our children are our most valuable population, and we must do everything in our power to protect them from harm. I urge you to prioritize this matter and provide a prompt and comprehensive response to my request. The safety and well being of our children should always be a top priority, and we must work together to ensure that no child suffers such a tragic fate again. And thank you for your attention to this urgent matter. And this was Joshua Bain, um, City Councilor, regarding this. Now, again, he said safety should be our priority. It shouldn't be getting them back to the parent. And if that parent isn't right, then they failed her. Trisha Welty said, and that's the grandmother again. Please, please stop looking at reunification for every single child. It's not safe for every single child. I know Indiana is a reunification state, but we need to have our lawyers adjust this. This cannot happen again. Um, the grandparents are, it's sad, they're pleading this case after the child has already lost its life. And again, it's not just the mother and her boyfriend, because on Sunday, April 14th, um, the police announced that Kinsleigh's grandmother, 53-year-old Tammy Housley, was also arrested in connection with this incident and cases of neglect. Now, I don't get that. We're not just talking about two people. Well, it shouldn't even go past one person. But now we got two people and a grandmother. What in the world? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. In the meantime, the family's raising money to properly bury Kinsleigh. They're hoping to get a princess headstone for her. The rest of the money they raise, her grandparents say, will go towards creating a foundation in Kinsleigh's memory. The Chief Chris Bailey released the following statement regarding the incident. My heart breaks knowing what Kinsleigh went through in her short life and how she left the world. The circumstances of Kinsleigh's death are horrific beyond comprehension. No human being, let alone a child, should be treated like this. The alleged suspects, if convicted, should never step foot outside of a prison. I totally agree. I am so thankful for the officers, detective, crime scene personnel, emergency room personnel, coroner's office officials, and deputy prosecutors for their steadfast dedication to the innocent. What they see and hear every day, most of us could not endure. They are truly special people. I pray Kinsleigh has found in eternal peace, and for her siblings who will need a lot of love and care in the coming months and days. So, with that said, if you suspect a child is being abused or neglected, you're asked to call the child services within your state. It's an emergency situation. You got to call 911. It's just, you can't overlook this and you can't just say, it's not my place to call. The things you need to look for on signs of abuse and neglect are poor hygiene, suspicious injuries, malnutrition, excessive fatigue, aggressive behavior, and withdrawn behavior. If we don't stick up for these kids, then who's going to? They're not really old enough to speak up for themselves. There is mm, a donation page where you can donate to the burial of this young girl. A GoFundMe, and it's just all you gotta do is look up her name, and it will come up if you'd like to donate to her funeral. This is just a sad story, and unfortunately, I tend to do too many sad stories about little kids that can't protect themselves. And not only can they not protect themselves, they it just happens over and over and over and over again. I don't know why people have children who don't want them. I don't know why people get rid of their children that they don't want them. They put someone else above their own child. I can't believe a grandmother um, was involved in this. The child literally, in other reports that I read, only ate one time, and that was Thanksgiving. They would let her come out and eat for Thanksgiving. And obviously, in this picture, is way in between, I guess, this Thanksgiving and the other one because she weighed more at 2 years old than she did at. So people would say, oh, it's not our place to watch out. It is our place in this day and time to watch out for other, all kinds of stuff. Watch out for kids and how, you know, they might be, someone might be trying to kidnap them. Someone might be trying to, this channel here is about missing and exploited children, trafficking, and trading. No matter what you see when you're walking down, stop looking at a phone. Look up. You might save somebody's life. You might save a child. I thank you for being here, and I'll see you all again.